I'm Tim Tyrrell, and you're watching Class Act Sports.
Jared Ginsburg from Class Act Sports. We're joined by a longtime NFL player, Tim Tyrrell. Tim, thanks for taking the time to join us. What are you up to these days?
Well, thank you for having me on. I live in Chicago, and I played in Atlanta for a couple of years, 3 with the LA Rams. I was in Buffalo, and 2 with the Steelers. I'm the vice president of business development for a company called Contemporary Services Corporation. We're one of the largest crowd management companies in the United States, and we have about 12 NFL stadiums, 70 colleges, and we do all the security. You see those yellow jackets that say event staff? That's us.
Now, when you played in the league, did you always know? I also know that you're working with the retired players in the chapter Chicago of the NFLPA. Did you always know that you would wanted to do something like that to almost represent yourself ultimately when you retire?
Well, yeah, you know, the NFLPA is just an extension of the retired players. Is just an extension. We actually call it the NFLPA former players now. They don't like to use the word retired, but I got involved really for a couple of reasons. Number one, we formed our own C3 organization. All the NFLPA chapters are a C6, which means you can meet, but you can't raise any money because people can't write it off. We had to form a separate C3 organization to allow us to fund 8 $10,000 scholarships and identify 4 youth football teams in Chicago, and we buy them brand new equipment. And then on top of that, it was helping guys help themselves. A lot of business owners, and I got involved with the YPO and the EO, which is the Young Presidents Organization, and the Entrepreneurial Organization. I merged those groups with the NFL players, and we formed a mentoring group so that former players can get a second chance in business with these young, aggressive, progressive companies.
Talking about yourself in the league, I know you were a fullback, you also played some special teams, but you actually played quarterback in college. What was that like for you, transitioning from quarterback to fullback to special teams?
That was a dream, really a dream come true, because it was unheard of. I was a special teams, and I'd come in as a fullback in the NFL, but really I knew I was a quarterback in college, came as a fullback, and tried out with Atlanta, and really just the switch went off in my head, and I became one of those psychotic special teams. I mean, I played 7 years, but I remember maybe 3 of the years that I played because I was unconscious most of the time. But the transition was, you know, it was put up or shut up. I mean, you just had to go out there and do it. You had a very short time to prove yourself. 3 weeks, you better do something or you're going to be cut. And, the stars lined up and things happened, and I ended up making the team and playing for a long time, and really was noted as a special teams player.
Well, speaking about the head injuries and the concussions, you think they're doing the best they can to clean that up a little bit?
Well, I think the players are just trying to identify it more. You know, it's so complicated. There's so many arguments about it. Basically, the players want to just make it fair. The owners take the risk in buying a team, and they're the ones, and we know what it takes to go out there and do it. But there's all these independent studies now that are showing that a lot of things are happening to these guys when they leave the game. Not 4 or 5 years after it, but 20, 25, 30 years after they leave the game. So they got to figure out what would be fair. They got to figure out what would be fair for the players and the owners. And that's what I kind of concentrate in Chicago. I don't get too much involved in it. I back what they're trying to do to some point. But I also realize that there's risk involved what we're doing. But as we learn more about it, we hope that the owners do the right thing, whatever that is, whatever they work that out. But I think a lot of it is you got to take care of help these guys who help build this game and help this NFL game be a $9 billion industry.
You bounced around the league a little bit, played for a couple different teams, excellent special teamer. What was your most memorable experience from the NFL? And also, which team was your favorite to play for?
Easy, the Rams. The LA Rams, playing for John Robinson and playing with guys like Mel Owens, Johnny Johnson, Vince Newsom, Eric Dickerson, Jim Everett, Jackie Slater, Irv Pankey, Dennis Smith. Doug Smith. We had so much fun in the game, and we had a great team. But boy, did we have a great time off the field too. John Robinson was the greatest guy to play for. He made the game fun. We played hard, and we played off the field hard as well. It was fun.
That's excellent. You a fullback. Were you fullback? Were you blocking for Eric Dickerson back in the day? And what was that like? What did you learn from Eric Dickerson as a running back?
Well, I didn't learn anything from Eric Dickerson. I was just telling someone the other day, I go, I remember sitting there watching Eric run through the hole. And just in practice, I'm there watching, I'm like, and he ran through like a gazelle. I mean, he was so much better than everyone on the field. I was just saying to myself, how did I even come close to coming and making it in this level, to this league? Because I was nothing like that. But yes, I got to start a couple games to block for Eric, and it was really a dream come true. I mean, if you've ever experienced a dream, that was really it. And I was able to do it, God willing, and great family and great coaches, and I didn't get hurt. Ironically, I didn't get hurt, but it was a dream, really a dream, and I have so much passion and love for the game now. And more than that, I have an appreciation and a tremendous amount of humility, because a lot of things could have gone the other way for me. And I got to live that thing out for a long time, and I continue to tell my story to kids and inspire people, I hope, and I just truly feel blessed. I mean, I'm very humbled by the whole experience.
No doubt about it. What advice do you have for some of the kids out there really trying to make it, that may be down and out some days, that don't think they can make it to the NFL?
Well, you got to realize that it's not the big house on the hill or all the money in the world is not going to make you happy. You have to enjoy the journey. If you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. I was passionate about the game. There was nothing about it. The only reason why I got a sports agent was so I wouldn't do it for free. He goes, Tim, you can get paid to do this. I'm like, really? I don't care. I really didn't care. I wanted to play the game. I loved it. But I would just say, like what the big fancy words you hear, be persistent. When I was released, I was cut 5 times in the NFL. I played 7 years. I went to the owners. I thanked them for the opportunity. And you just don't cut ties. You realize that you prove to yourself that you can play at a certain level. And I've had people tell me, why do you play the game? You're never going to play in the pros. I remember hearing that by a couple adults, and I was like, I look back at it, I'm like, how could someone actually say that? So it's really all about find something you're passionate about. If it's not the NFL, and believe me, the NFL stands for not for long. So you're not going to be playing long if you do play. The average is 3 years. I think it's less than that even. But I would just say, be persistent. Find the thing you love to do. If it is the NFL, do everything you have to do. And when you get to the dance, if you ever get that opportunity for a tryout, excuses are like butts. Everyone's got one. Find a way to get it done and make yourself different than everyone else on the field.
Tim, thanks for taking the time. Super Bowl 45 live here in Dallas at the Ghost Bar in the W Hotel. Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers. Last thing, Tim, who do you got?
I played for the Steelers. I got to go with Pittsburgh. And I live in Chicago, so anyone in Chicago, if I pick Green Bay, would kill me. But I'm going to go with the Steelers.
From Class Act Sports, I'm Jared Ginsburg. It's Tim Tyrrell. You're watching Class Act Sports, going beyond the game, behind the scenes, in the Ghost Bar W Hotel.